extra time.
When the season begins, a lot more people would be needed in office. Can we have any kind of idea as to when are you looking to begin the season? I know it will be very difficult for you to put a date on something as unpredictable and as evolving as things are now. But are you looking at a particular point in time when you can restart football for 2020-2021 season?
Well, we could not complete the second division, so therefore the first competition which we are thinking of is the second division. We probably have to hold it somewhere by mid-September, because otherwise it won't give enough time for the club which has been promoted to sign the players. I'm not sure whether we can do it in by mid-September, but that is our endeavor. It has to be a single venue and probably without spectators, closed doors. After that, we have, of course, our World Cup qualifier with Qatar in October. Now that is again a serious challenge. We're still not sure how it's going to pan out in terms of what the protocols would be, because there's foreign travel involved, etc. But these are the immediate things which we are looking at in terms of competitions. Of course, we have to start the training camps for the under-16 boys and the under-17 girls, women's team for the World Cup. But we are planning to start the senior leagues sometimes in November. So we're looking at, so India has another World Cup qualifier match in November against Afghanistan. And after that, I think we will start probably the ISL, the Hero ISL, and soon thereafter, the Hero I-League. So that is a tentative plan. It is, at this point in time, that's the only plan we have. We're not sure whether this can be implemented, but hoping it can be implemented.
So, whichever way, assuming the mid-November start actually happens, you already mentioned that the Hero I-League second division, which will obviously happen behind closed doors, the one that could not be completed last year. So, how are you looking at holding the ISL and the I-League sometime in November? Are you also looking at a single venue, because they are traditionally played on a home and away basis? That will again involve a lot of logistics in terms of travel, quarantine rules, etc. So, how are you looking to hold the ISL and the I-League this season?
I think as things look, it has to be behind closed doors and a single venue, because we cannot afford to take risks with the players, with their travel, and there are different protocols and SOPs in different states. So realistically speaking, it has to be behind closed doors and a single venue. We are still in the process of sorting out the venues as well as the fixtures, etc. But I think, to my mind, that is the only possibility.
You've also spoken about, in an earlier question, you also mentioned the fact that we are playing Qatar in October. Not only is it unclear as to how the coach will travel and the staff will travel, because foreign flights are still not sorted. How are you looking to start the preparatory camp? Because he's already asked, I've read that he's asked for a 6-week camp going into the game against Qatar, which will mean that sometime around the middle of August, you'll have to get the team together, even if he can't arrive by then, because that is not in the control of the AIFF. Have you worked out the logistics there? Because it would require quarantining players after they reach the venue, or it could mean that they need to be in that venue by the first week of August. So doesn't leave you with much time, does it?
Right. So SAI and MYAS, that's Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, has given some guidelines as to the protocol to be followed for training camps. There are, again, issues which still are not very clear, but at least on the training camps, we have some protocol, which has also been reviewed by our technical team, our doctors, medical team, discussed with FIFA. So in that sense, we have some sort of a SOP in place for the training. As regards the travel, again, it varies from state to state. For example, in Goa, if you're coming from a different state at this point in time, if you're coming from a different state and you have got a COVID test done, then they accept that COVID test. But if you have not got a COVID test done, then they immediately put you in quarantine for 3 to 4 days, get a test done. And then if it is negative, then they allow you to join the camp or whatever. So it varies from state to state, place to place. We have written to, if you have the camp, it has to be in Bhubaneswar, because that's where the match is scheduled to happen. So we have written to the Odisha government about their protocol. We are still awaiting a reply. And based on that, we'll have to take a decision. Probably we would look at starting the camp third week of August or maybe the end of August. I don't think at this point in time whether we can do a 6-week camp, because there are various other factors involved. But we are awaiting the response from the Odisha government, and because that is critical to what the procedures we need to follow. As regards the travel of the Qatar team, that's another critical and huge issue. I believe that international travel is scheduled to start from 15th of July. But whether people who are coming from outside will be quarantined is something which the government has not clarified as yet. At this point in time, when you're taking the one-day flights, then you have to necessarily go for 14-day quarantine. That is 1 week in a hotel or in a COVID center and 1 week at home. So I'm not sure what kind of protocols the central government will use in such a case. And if that is the case, then I think it becomes extremely difficult to host international matches unless things improve by October. So we'll have to wait and watch. At this point in time, quite a difficult situation, I would think.
The dates, the revised dates for the Under-17 Women's World Cup has been announced. And as Mr. Dotto mentioned, it starts in February and continues till March in 2021. Around what time do you think you can start the preparatory camp, now that camps have begun for athletics and hockey and at the different size centers, now that camps have begun? Around what time are you looking at being able to start the camp for these girls, irrespective of whenever Mr. Dennerby is allowed to fly in and his staff?
Right. So, you may have read today that, the boxing camp has been discontinued because of not following the COVID procedures, the protocols. So it is, again, a very tricky issue. We have of course, discussed with the Goa government in terms of the camp, and they have given us the protocols which I just mentioned. But we are also in talks with other governments where, for example, Jharkhand, where the chief minister himself is very interested that the camp be held there, because there are 8 or 10 girls from Jharkhand. And if with the governmental support, it makes it so much more easier to manage the COVID protocols. So we are still in the process of deciding, but we would definitely like to start by the first week of August, or maybe at best, latest by the 15th of August. And Mr. Danabai, even if he can't come, we have Alex Ambrose, who's there. We have Precious, who's the goalkeeping coach, is still in Goa because she could not travel back to Nigeria. So the staff which will be missing is Thomas and his other support staff. But I'm hoping that, by August 15th, he along with his support staff can travel back to India. So again, a little up in the air, so to say, but we are looking at every possible alternative.
Hit the subscribe option and the bell icon to get all the exclusive sports videos on Extra Time.